So we're continuing to work on our book all about frogs, and I bet you've colored the front already. I hope you have. We've done our introduction. Mine says plop. Did you hear that? A frog jumped into the water. There it is. I hope that makes people want to move on and read. And also I included a fun fact. I am an amphibian. Then I've got my habitat. That was the ditch with water and grass. We talked about diet. And I made my dragonfly and worm, a fly, and a minnow. We talked about characteristics. What do frogs do? They croak, they jump, they swim, they eat, they hibernate in winter. And today we're going to talk about the frog life cycle. And I want to just show you this book. Real fact books work this way too. This is called Frogs and Toads, and looks what it starts with. A home. In and out of water. They're amphibians. Talks about what a frog is. And a toad. Frog and toad home, which we call habitat in science. Yummy food. What is their diet? There's one eating a worm. It's got a page on the life cycle. And that's what we're going to talk about today. When I found my frog spawn in the water, it looked like this. It's a big cluster of eggs, and they're usually attached to a stick or a reed, a long piece of grass, so that when the waves do come, if there's any waves in the water from fish swimming by or other frogs, the egg sac will not float away down the river or down the pond. It will stay where it is, attached to the reed. In your book, there are 4 sections. And you might want to freeze on this picture so that you can look at it and think about it. When you are making your 4 sections, there are really 4 stages to the life cycle. There's the adult stage. The adult lays the eggs. The eggs become tadpoles. The tadpoles become froglets. Just like a baby pig is a piglet, we call a baby frog a froglet. And the froglet has a little bit of a tail for a while, and then it just gets absorbed into his body, so he looks more like this. And they become adult frogs. The frog spawn that I found in my ditch started out looking like this, and it takes about 8 weeks. So usually if I find the frog spawn, say at the end of April, it will take May, June till the end of school until we get little froglets like this. When you get a little froglet, those frogs need to be released because they need to eat fresh insects. And so I always release them right away when they come out of the water as little froglets. That's the life cycle. There are 4 stages, and in your book there are 4 sections. And to help me remember, I put the little arrows, so it's like a cycle. It's a wheel that goes around and around and around. So the eggs become tadpoles that look like little fish. The tadpoles become froglets that are tiny frogs with tails. And then there's the adult frog, which is a bigger looking frog. So our 4 sections will be like these 4 sections. And it goes around in a cycle because then, once the adult frog lays eggs, the whole cycle begins again. If you find eggs in water that do not go in a cluster, a round cluster like this, if you ever find eggs that are in a long line instead of in a cluster, then you have not found frog eggs. You have found tadpole or toad eggs that will still hatch into tadpoles, but they'll become toads. So there's what the toad eggs look like. They're still black dots in jelly, the very same, except they're in a long line. And frog eggs are in a round cluster. There's a close-up of the tadpoles. They do look like little minnows or little fish. So you're going to draw your 4 stages of the life cycle, and if you can, also draw a label and just write what they are. Egg, tadpole, froglet, frog. Attach that to this lesson so I can see what you've drawn for the frog life cycle.